So you will probably have to bear with me if you've watched the channel for a while. I'm not fully engrossed in my New Japan. New Japan is something that I sort of keep on the side. I don't usually do a lot of videos of it because I just finding the time to watch it and everything. But I really wanted to talk about Wrestle Kingdom this year. I really did. So I'm going to give it a go, and I hope you all like it. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Wrestle Kingdom 18. That sounded weird. Wrestle Kingdom 18. Wrestle Kingdom 18, the big super show of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I sat down and watched it UK time, got out of bed at about 7:30, realised it started at 6:30, and I was like, oh, okay. And watched it in the morning with my breakfast, with some bagels, some orange juice. It was a lovely experience of not having to avoid spoilers or watch it in the evening or midnight or in the morning. It was a lovely experience. That's why I love the occasional New Japan shows, because they start at a time when this early bird gets to thrive. So, before we dive into my review of Wrestle Kingdom, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom and what you thought, as you would do on any other review. So, let's talk about Wrestle Kingdom. So Wrestle Kingdom was awesome. It was a really, really good show. I really enjoyed this Wrestle Kingdom. Great way to kick off the year. I'm going to talk about a few negatives now that aren't necessarily about the show itself. It's more my experience of watching the show, and that was technical issues. I don't know what happened in regards to sort of technical issues, but when I tried to catch up and rewatch, so I missed the tag match, the Catch-22 tag match, and the War Dogs tag match. That match I missed, and I missed the pre-show as well, and I couldn't seem to get back on it. I struggled to do that. So that match, we're going to start from Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., if you guys are okay with that. And the other one was, something happened with the sound on this show. I tried readjusting my Roku, I tried stopping the app, but for whatever reason the sound, at least for the UK English commentary, which is the version I prefer only because it gives me background that I might not know, like I understand it was working fine on the Japanese version, but yeah, the English version, the sound was out of sync and I could not fix it. I think I saw Twitter saying that people were having the same issues, so I think it was a thing. So that didn't ultimately hurt the experience, but it was a little bit jarring in some cases when you could hear the noise of the move before actually happening, particularly on the pinfalls and the attempted pinfalls. The sound was very bizarre. But all that out of the way, all the grievances, all the technical babble out of the way, let's talk about Wrestle Kingdom, because Wrestle Kingdom was a blast. I really, really enjoyed this show. I thought it was from top to bottom in the way that New Japan only does. The structure of this card, everything just worked perfectly for me. Really, really did. And starting off with the first match for the New Japan World Television title, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And they had a right little good match this. I really enjoyed Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi. Seeing Tanahashi adapt to the style of Zack Sabre Jr. and Zack Sabre Jr.'s beast of technical wrestling prowess, that was just fun. It was just fun to see those two go at it. And yeah, they worked a really nice match. They didn't play off any of the sort of time limit constraints, which has been in some of Zack Sabre Jr.'s matches for this title. Instead, Tanahashi out-grappled Zack Sabre Jr. and managed to roll him up. Like a great back and forth of roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, eventually giving Tanahashi the win and ending the reign of Zack Sabre Jr., who's had this title for a long time, a long old time as he had this television title, and now it's on around the waist of Tanahashi. Very excited to see where this goes. I'm hoping that Zack Sabre Jr. probably progresses. Main event scene, Zack Sabre Jr. is what I'd like to see. There's going to be a void there, sort of when Ospreay goes to AEW, for Zack Sabre Jr. to potentially fill. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'm excited to see Tanahashi just have 15-minute bangers with people. That'll be fun. But this was a really fun match and opened the show for me in a really fun way. Then we got a grudge match between Yuya Imura and Yota Tsuji. this was good. This was good. They played off a lot of stuff that happened in World Tag League here. Like, the hatred between these two is just solid, just really good. And I think Yota Tsuji, something about him, like, he screams villain. He really, really does. He's a really good villain. And Uma, I hope I pronounced that right, is a great babyface, really great underdog babyface. And they had a 10-minute match here that I didn't think was like a great blow-off match. It was solid in what it attempted to do, and that was further this feud and potentially serve as a blow-off. But I think this is going to be one of those feuds that's sort of like us till the end of time, the Yota Tsuji Umura stuff. And I thought it was really fun. I thought it was really well executed in that regard. Nothing offensive happened, nothing groundbreaking happened in this match, but overall, as a grudge match, I thought it was pretty fun, with the babyface Umura picking up the win over Yota Tsuji. I think there's still more there. There's still some more left in the tank for that match, and I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I think New Year's Dash is going to have a lot of hype behind it. I think there's going to be a lot of further in the feuds, a lot of cool matches on New Year's Dash, and I'm excited to see where this one goes. Not a lot to say about this one, but it was really fun. Then we got, even as not a massive New Japan fan, House of Torture, man. They are rough. I don't know why, but House of Torture just do not work. And this match was House of Torture versus Shota Umino and Kaito Kiyomiya. I've probably butchered that. I'm really sorry. And yeah, he's a staple of Pro Wrestling Noah, so it's sort of a special tag match in that regard. This was just something about. I like Ren Narita. Okay, Ren Narita was one of the members for House of Torture, and I do like Evil. That might be, sacrilege to hear. I think he's good at getting heat, and I like his look. He's really cool, but I just think the act is really bland and sort of just generic. I think that's my issue with House of Torture. I think they're fine wrestlers. I think Ren Narita is a really, really good wrestler. But the act is just nothing. It's like low-tier Judgment Day. And when I say Judgment Day, I mean like Edge Judgment Day. That kind of stuff. I just don't like House of Torture. And this match just sort of escalated into Schmoz Fest, where ref bump, everyone gets involved from the House of Torture, and eventually led to a House of Torture win. It's sure, I mean, from the end of the show, they're seemingly setting up something big with Evil, which we'll get to at the end of this review. So maybe that's where they're going with this, but I really like Shota Umino. I really, really do. And I want to see him pushed straight to the top. Putting Evil above him isn't really the one for me. So yeah, this, for a special tag match, I was a little bit underwhelmed, and I think this was the low light of the show, in my opinion. Next up, we got an absolute banger for the Never Open Weight title, as Shingo Takagi took on Tama Tonga. If I was any wrestling promotion, I would be looking to sign Tama Tonga, because Tama Tonga is unreal, and Shingo and him just went at it from the opening bell. From the opening bell, these two destroyed each other with great move after hard-hitting strike after great move, and lots of kickouts of each other's finishes. I think that was sort of a theme going through this show. But Tama Tonga really, really impressed me. Like, I've not seen a lot of Tama Tonga, to be completely honest, but his look and the way he carries himself is excellent. Truly, truly excellent. And I think that Shingo Takagi as well really held his own in this match. Like, I'm saying that like he's a newbie. He's been doing this for like 20 years, but he impresses me from the Will Ospreay match at Rev Pro to this one. From everything I've seen from Shingo Takagi, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I love just the rush and the adrenaline rushes that his matches give me. And that was the same in this regard. And it led to a big, big title change as Tama Tonga picked up the win over Shingo. This is a very, very interesting choice, particularly with what Tama Tonga has said in the post-match comments, where he says that he's going to be probably leaving New Japan on January the 28th. And he's won the open weight title, so we'll see what happens there. Maybe he'll do a Punk and take it to different promotions. We'll see. We'll see if Shingo gets the belt back or what happens with that. But this was a awesome, awesome match. Probably like my There's a lot of good matches on the show, which is why it's difficult, but one of my favourite matches of the night right here. Next up, we got the winner-takes-all match for the New Japan Strong Tag Team Championships and the IWGP Tag Team Championships as Bishamon took on Gorillas of Destiny. This, for me, I thought was a really good tag match. I thought it was really enjoyable. However, I don't think it came close to the heights of the other tag matches that these guys have had, particularly the World Tag League match. I thought both of their World Tag League matches were superior to this one, in my opinion, and I was left feeling a little bit underwhelmed, particularly as this has the big stipulation of winner takes all on it. And yeah, they work really well together. These two teams are so great, Bishamon and Gorillas of Destiny, and El Phantasmo is leagues. He's insane. He's so good. He's so good as El Phantasmo. But I just felt like this match didn't have the same sort of fire behind it that the World Tag League matches had. And that is what left me feeling a little bit underwhelmed. Now, it was still really good. A really good tag match. However, it just didn't click in the same way as that those ones did. And the ultimate winners were the Gorillas of Destiny. They picked up the IWGP Tag Team titles with a big sort of flurry sequence where they kicked out of the finish from Bishamon. El Phantasmo hit a huge splash sort of over the shoulders of Hikuleo. And then Hikuleo himself hit a huge splash from the top rope for the win. Interesting. I'm excited to see what the pair do. Gorillas of Destiny, I think there's a lot of stuff to be done with them, particularly defending these belts, both in New Japan Strong and in main New Japan shows. So we'll see. We'll see about this one, but it's very intriguing. But unfortunately, the match just didn't sort of land for me as much as those other matches. I'm sorry about that. Next up, we got the match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship as Hiromu Takahashi took on El Desperado. Now, this was a much sort of slower, it was fast-paced, don't get me wrong, but it was a slower-paced match than I was expecting for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this. I think both guys have got great presence and whereabouts, and they told quite an interesting story in this match as well. And Takahashi's costume when he came out has just gone into my head. He was sort of a big octopus, which was cool. I've lost my train of thought now. Forgive me for that. But yeah, this was a really fun match that didn't necessarily, it wasn't like Will Ospreay versus Ricochet, the Super Junior Tag League from back in the day or anything like that. But it was really good. Really good, and I'm really happy that El Desperado picked up the win. I think that's a very interesting choice, very cool in that regard. I think he's very cool. He's got a great look and sort of a great aura about him. So I think we will see where this goes. For some reason, I don't see Desperado having a really long title reign with this. I instead see not a transitional reign, but I don't know. There's something about Desperado that I don't think will. I just don't think it'll be a long reign with this title, and I think he's going to get some oncomers. I think we're going to get potentially Mustafa Ali thrown in there, vying for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, and some of the sort of released stars maybe gunning for that belt as well. So yes, we'll get into that. Then I think we got my match of the night, which was the triple threat match for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, as David Finlay took on Will Ospreay, took on Jon Moxley. This match was so effing good. I cannot tell you how good this triple threat was. Everyone in this match was fantastic. I love the story that they told at the beginning, where Moxley and Ospreay, for 5 minutes, beat the piss out of David Finlay, because he's a dick. He's such a good dick as well. He's such a good prick, and it's easy to hate him. So yeah, they just beat the piss out of him for destroying the IWGP US/UK Championship. And then we got into Moxley versus Ospreay, sort of in a singles capacity. They're squaring up, hitting move after move after move. Then David Finlay gets in, starts, causing chaos, and sort of gets into that triple threat mold where everyone's sort of hitting everyone. Then you got the War Dogs run in, big distraction spot. start beating down Moxley, beating down Ospreay. And Moxley, I think it was Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd of the War Dogs set up 2 tables on the outside. Moxley got the upper hand, put Gabe Kidd and Alex Coughlin on the tables. Ospreay hit a swanton through the tables and left Alex Coughlin just planted, just stuck in the table like that. And it was a beautiful image to behold. And it was so funny. It looked so funny. And then there was still like a big chunk of match left, probably like another 7 minutes, featuring one of my favourite spots of the year already, which is Jon Moxley hitting the paradigm shift on Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay remaining upright and then sliding in for a hidden blade, only for David Finlay to roll up Moxley. That was really, really good. You got really good exchanging sequences towards the end. You had Moxley hitting the Death Rider and getting a really good near fall on David Finlay. You had Ospreay hitting numerous hidden blades on everyone, hidden blade for everyone. But ultimately, David Finlay got the upper hand and he hits sort of his Oshigoroshi finisher for a really good near fall on Ospreay, then gets him up into sort of a suplex go to sleep sort of thing. I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll figure it out in a minute. And picks up the win. IWGP Global Champion is David Finlay of Bullet Club. I think this was not an obvious pick, but I think we all knew it was going to happen, particularly with Moxley and Ospreay now having commitments to AEW. It seemed unlikely that New Japan were going to put the belt on one of them, but David Finlay is a great choice. And I've not spoken about it yet, but he got into a heated brawl with the debuting Nick Nemeth. Dolph Ziggler was at ringside. I think he came out just before the IWGP Tag Team title match. Dolph Ziggler in New Japan is something I would love to see, and we're getting it. It's probably going to be the first feud because he had a big brawl with David Finlay. First feud is going to be for the IWGP Global Championship. Maybe he takes it off Finlay. That'd be nice. If we get Nick Nemeth in the G1, I think his stock is going to rise. It's going to skyrocket if he's in the G1. I think that's great. I think it's great that Dolph Ziggler / Nick Nemeth made his transition across to New Japan, and I'm so excited to see what he does from here. Next up, we had the big dream match as Kazuchika Okada took on the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. My most anticipated match of the show. Wasn't my favourite match of the show. That goes to the triple threat prior. But this was a banger, and they told one hell of a story in this match of Bryan Danielson destroying Kazuchika Okada's arms. I loved it. It was such a good match. I think it was a lot better than their Forbidden Door match as well. And they just beat the shit out of each other. Particularly Danielson. He is destroying the arm, trapping it in the guardrail and slamming the barricade onto it, hitting numerous arm break spots so he can stop Okada from using the Rainmaker. That is a great story to tell. Simple story, a really simple story that Danielson has set up throughout this entire build, saying he's just going to break Okada's arm so he can't hit the Rainmaker. And when Okada eventually hits that first Rainmaker from near enough out of nowhere, the reaction is seismic. It is a seismic reaction to a Rainmaker, to a move. You just go, oh my god, he hit it. For a great near fall. I don't think Okada finishes anything with a one Rainmaker anymore. But yeah, he hits the Rainmaker, completely selling his arm, and that led to really, I can't remember if it was before the first Rainmaker, I think it was after the first Rainmaker, when Danielson has Okada locked into a mix of the cattle mutilation and the yes lock, label lock. And he's wrenching these arm backs. Okada's selling on this. I had my heart in my mouth. Like, the tension that he was either going to pass out or tap was insane, because there was a point where Red Shoes goes over and looks like he's going to raise the arm to drop it, doesn't. Okada sort of fades and then gets his foot on the ropes. That was a beautiful moment of tension that I absolutely loved, and that is a moment that will stick with me from the show. That submission spot I think was awesome. And then he got into the run of like Okada greatness, which all his matches do at the end, which is big move, big move, big move, big move, running knee, great near fall from Danielson. into some Rainmakers, and it was the Rainmaker that ultimately put away Bryan Danielson for the 1-2-3. Not a long match, as I can see. It was sort of 23 minutes. That's not like long by like New Japan standards at all. So it was awesome. An awesome match. And I feel like they have left some more in the tank. They bowed to each other at the end, gave each other the sign of respect, which I loved. It could cap off the feud, or we could get that one rubber match down the line. Loved it. It was a really awesome dream match from Wrestle Kingdom. And following that, we had the main event. Sanada, the IWGP champion, defending his belt against Tetsuya Naito, the G1 Climax winner of 2023. This match was awesome as well. I really enjoyed this. I think Sanada, looking back, I'm going to go back and watch some of Sanada's stuff from his reign, but in this match, I just think he carried himself so well and sort of put across, like it was put across on commentary, just sort of the uncertainty and some of the insecurities that plague Sanada being in this big time spot against Naito, his former mentor from LIJ. I loved the way he carried himself, which played into the ending. But first of all, the match itself was banger after banger after banger, as Naito stored up all his finishers and hit them all at once. He just destroyed Sanada with his, I can't remember what it's called. It begins with a D. I know it begins with a D. Sort of his wraparound reverse DDT thing. He hit it a lot and still couldn't put Sanada away. Ended up getting a big gash sort of above his eye from one of the moves that Sanada hit him with. And great transitions, great counters, everything. They were just one-upping each other, and they put over on commentary that every time someone seemed like they got the upper hand, they would click like that and someone would get in there and stop that momentum, which could make for a boring match, but they actually played this off so well, and that these two guys know each other and studied each other so much, leading to Naito winning the belt, winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and eventually finishing off Sanada in what was a banger of a main event. I was so happy. Like, also by New Japan standards, not a particularly long match. I think it was about 25 minutes, but it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal main event. And the post-match was nearly awful, because as Naito's celebrating, getting his moment in the ring, who should run down but goddamn House of Torture to beat him down, seemingly setting up probably a match at New Year's Dash, because Sanada runs in and makes the save for Naito. Ushers won, so we've got a rematch down the line at some point. Sanada goes off and he's in tears, and that broke me as someone who's never really watched like New Japan proper. Seeing Sanada and the way he played his character in the match and throughout the video package, it broke me. I was really emotional watching Sanada lose here, and it seems like we've got a lot more left in this feud with Naito. Naito got his roll call at the end. It was awesome, a great way to cap off Wrestle Kingdom, and Wrestle Kingdom has gone. It's not a 2-night event this year. It's a 1-night event, and it is done. It is in the books. Overall, I would give this a solid 4.25 out of 5. I don't think it's lived up to some of the highs and some of the great matches that have taken place at Wrestle Kingdom, like the Ospreay Omega match from last year, like Okada Omega. There's just been so many great matches at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't think this is necessarily the greatest Wrestle Kingdom, but it was such a fun event, and it was a breeze to get through. For a show that was as long as it was, it didn't feel like a chore, which I think is great. Really great, and a great way to start off the year in New Japan. Very excited to see where this goes. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Did you like Wrestle Kingdom? Did you not? Let me know everything you want, and I'll try and apply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.